What's up, everybody? You saw the thumbnail, right? $4,053 a day. So you want to start a Christmas light business? You may have questions: why, how, when, where, what in the world do I do? This video is going to walk you through some of those questions and give you some things to think about. So let's run through some numbers real quick.
Let's do some math. And this is not that new math kind of stuff, but this is that old original math that relates and correlates to the green paper. Here we go. How can you do what we're talking about? Average 3 houses a day with a 3-man crew. Guys, you gotta be efficient. You ain't gonna do this on your first 5 houses. You gotta get some experience, some EXP, and be efficient in order to do this. And if your average house is 193 feet, that's linear feet, and you're charging $7 a foot, that equals $1,351. And you guessed it, what is $1,351 times 3? $4,053 a day.
The Christmas light business is awesome. You are a joy deliverer is what you are. You deliver joy by putting lights up. There's nothing like seeing somebody see their lights for the first time and see that glimmer in their eye and say, man, that's awesome. It makes people feel giddy, it makes people feel good, and you get to be a part of that. This is 14 things to think about and to plan through before you start a Christmas light business, and there's some bonus stuff as well. Okay, you ready? Got my list here. Number 1, name your business. Find a name, and whether that name includes your name or not, put Christmas lights in there somewhere, or lighting or something, so that when you're searched for, people can find you and they know that you are a Christmas light business. Feel free to be creative in that name. Number 2, you gotta know how to put the lights up. That's a given. You can learn from our YouTube channel. There's several videos about how to put the lights up the right way, so you can learn that way. But know how and practice on your own house before you start doing other people's houses. Number 3, the business stuff. Are you gonna be a sole proprietor? Are you gonna be an LLC? If you're gonna be an LLC, what type of LLC are you gonna be? You can be an S Corp or a C Corp. Research and know what those things mean. Get you an EIN, that's an employer identification number. Get you, if you're gonna be charging sales tax, get you a sales tax number so that you can charge and remit that sales tax to the government. Are you gonna have insurance? There's general liability, that's the most basic insurance that you can have, and then you can have commercial auto if you have employees driving vehicles, and then you can even get workman's comp if you're worried about employees getting hurt and having insurance for that. So research those things and see what you need to start out doing. If you're just a tip here, if you're just starting out and it's just gonna be you, just do it the first year. Use your regular insurance that you have on your truck already. Go out and get your feel for it. And that's a sole proprietorship. You're just coming up with a DBA, which is a doing business as, that's your business name. Number 4, you need to have a supplier. You need to know where your lights are coming from and that you can trust that you're gonna get the quality lights that you need every time, and you need to know how long it's gonna take to get those. If you're ordering online, then you need to know how long it's gonna take for you to get those supplies, or you may find a local supplier that you like. If you don't have a supplier yet and you wanna use us, we're gonna take great care of you. Go to lawnandlight.com, click the contractor button at the top, sign up as a contractor. We'll get you approved shortly after that, and then you can rock and roll. We've got really good prices, really high quality stuff. Number 5, are you gonna lease or sell the lights? I know you guys, if you're looking to get in the business, you've heard this. Are you gonna lease or sell the lights? There's 2 things to consider there. Leasing is basically you're renting the lights for the same price every year. Selling the lights is that you're gonna charge the customer more up front the first year, and then the second year pricing is going to drop some. Determine if you're gonna do those, and then start working on pricing. I think we'll talk about that in a minute. Number 6, set and understand your goals. Listen, your dreams are your dreams. They're not anybody else's dreams. Your goals are your goals. But if you're gonna set a goal, try to achieve it, and put some action steps into place to achieve it. So understand your goals. Do you wanna do 50 houses your first year? Okay, that's fine. Set that goal and figure out how you're gonna achieve it. Do you wanna just dip your toe in the water and do 5 or 10 houses this year. Okay, great. Well, how are you gonna do that? Because you still gotta go out and get customers. Set your goals and understand them and write out some action steps in order to achieve them. Number 7, cost, pricing, and inventory. What are your costs for your lights? You can go to our website, lawnandlight.com, and price out what it's gonna look like for you to build out your inventory, or build out what it's gonna take for you to put lights up on somebody's house. That's where you get your costs. Pricing, you're gonna have to do some market research, because there may be some places in the United States that charge $8 a foot pretty consistently. And other places may charge $4 a foot pretty consistently. Do you wanna work? You need to price with your market. Especially if you're new, you really need to be in that market range, and you're not gonna get top dollar compared to a Christmas light company that's been doing it for 10 years and has fantastic customer service. You might get a few jobs, and that's great if you do, but you can go on the Facebook pages and people are asking what they're charging, and some hootenannies out there saying I'm charging $10 or $12 a foot. Well, maybe they are, but they might be in a different area than you. They might just be shooting the bull and messing with you. They might not be telling the truth. Or maybe they're the best at what they do and they've been doing it for a long time. You're not just gonna go out and grab market share at the highest price. And hear me here. There's plenty of room for you to start out, and I'm not saying start out low. I'm not saying start out at the bottom of the barrel. Start out at a fair price and you know what your services are worth. There's plenty of room for you to grow, is what I'm saying. As far as inventory goes, wherever you're getting your supply from, just know how long that's gonna take to get in. Will they hold it for you? You know, if you're getting it local, will they have a certain amount of inventory and hold it for you? In that case, you need to know how much you're gonna sell, which is hard to do your first, second, third year. It's really hard to plan for that. Or are you just gonna order it and they're gonna give it to you if they have it? These things run out. For us, it's gonna take, for lawnandlight.com, you know, depending on where you're at, we're gonna ship it to you. It's gonna take, you know, 3 to 5 days, sometimes 2 to 4 days, depending on where you're at. So know that, and know how much inventory you need to keep on hand to keep up with demand. Number 8, this is a big one for me, okay? We have several different businesses and we deal with service businesses every day. We have a construction business, we have this lighting thing going on, and we have an Airbnb business. And on the construction side of things, I deal with people all the time who do not know how to honor what they say they're gonna do. It's not that they don't know how to do it. Everybody knows how to do that. They just don't do it. I'm waiting on a guy right now to install one thing that I asked him a month and a half to do. It's super frustrating, okay? So you wanna win in a service business, do what you say you're gonna do when you say you're gonna do it and how you say you're gonna do it. That's how you manage customer expectations. If you can't honor what you say you're gonna do in a service business, please just don't do it. Just being real. If it comes up where you can't honor that one thing that you told a customer, communicate. Communicate, let them know so that you're resetting the expectations up front. Don't try to reset expectations after the timeline is up. That's the hard truth. Be better. It frustrates me so much when people don't do what they say they're gonna do. Be better than that. Let's go, guys and gals. Number 9, what's your setup gonna look like? Are you gonna run pretty light starting out and then kind of build up, or are you gonna just jump all the way in? You can run out of a truck. You can run out of a little SUV if you want to. You can grab a trailer that you're gonna, a box trailer. You can grab an open trailer. You can even buy a box truck. I mean, there's so many options out there. Come up with a plan of how you're gonna do this thing and execute that plan. Before we go to number 10, I wanna say that I'm giving you the basics of what you need to think about. We have a course, and we'll put a link in the description, that goes into more detail on these items and more things to think about and how to execute those things, and also my thoughts on which way you should go based on our 10 years in business. Okay, here we go, jumping into number 10. Are you going to store lights for your customers? Or are you going to store them at their house? Are you gonna have a storage facility where you put all the lights? Or are you gonna leave them at your customer's house? There's pros and cons to each. So try to think through that and figure out what are those pros and cons to each one. I'll give you one pro of you storing the lights is that when you get ready to install, you can grab their box, take it to their house, and install. There's no other logistics there besides you getting their stuff and taking it there and installing it when you say you're gonna install it. 11, marketing. This is one of my favorite things. Marketing is a way that you can set yourself apart. It's a way that you get your name out there. It's not always about being the best. It's most of the time about being the best known and then holding up your end of the deal when it comes to customer expectations. The best, hands down, from what we've seen for local marketing is Facebook. Figure out how to use Facebook and run ads on Facebook in order to get clients to call you. I said that the best is Facebook. The best is word of mouth and referrals. That's probably where most of it's going to come from. But marketing, that's part of marketing too, is doing a good job. When you put lights on a house, that's marketing. So as long as people know, if you put a yard sign out or something, as long as people know that this company did this job and this job looks amazing, so I'm going to call this company, and then they ask their neighbor, who was that company? Did they do a good job? And they've already looked at it and said, yes, they did a good job. Okay, your foot's in the door. Now after that, how are you going to close? We're going to talk about that in a minute. The sales process. You need to understand kind of the sales process that you want. You've already decided, or you're going to decide whether you want to sell or lease lights. Okay, that's going to come into your sales process. Why would a customer choose you? Why would a customer choose you? Well, you have to walk them through the sales process, and we're going to break this down into two different sales processes. You got the phone call, the initial phone call. Even if somebody sends something in, if you have a website, even if somebody sends something in, you need to be calling them. You need to have touch points. You need to have a conversation with them. So that phone call, what are you going to tell them? What sets yourself apart? How does your service work? How are you going to relate to them? How are you going to eliminate tire kickers? Okay, that's what you're trying to do on that phone call. And in our course, I go through the sales script, our exact sales script of how we're selling that stuff and eliminating tire kickers. And then from there, you're setting appointments. And you can even go two ways with this. A lot of people do remote measuring now. It didn't work for us, but it may work in certain areas. Know your market, right? If you know your market, you'll know how to address. So consultation is number 2 of the sales process. When you get there, how are you presenting yourself? What are you talking about with the client? What information do you already have from them? How are you walking them through your process? How are you selling yourself? Okay, that's 2. Understand and work through this with people you know and develop your own sales process so that when you get to a customer, you're not just figuring out on the fly. This is really good information for you to think about. Write this down, process it, come up with something. I'm gonna tell you, it's probably not gonna work great the first time, and the second time, and the 5th time. But you know what? We get better every time. We figure out what works and what doesn't work. You know why comedians are so funny? Take Kevin Hart. Do you know how many times he says that same joke in front of an audience? Dave Chappelle will go to a underground bar in New York City and test jokes out before he gets on a big stage because he wants to see. That one fell flat. That one was really funny. I'm gonna use that one again. And he may change that one up. That one, I changed that joke. I reiterated it a little bit. I changed the inflection here or there, and that now is super funny. Okay, that's going in the final. This is what's going to happen with your sales process. You're going to constantly change and evolve based on what's not working and what is working. Number 13, products and profit margins. What products are you offering? So I'm gonna throw out a few right now. Roof lights, stake lights, minis, which would be shrubs and trees, greenery, hot glue. We put those in a different category because it's a different thing. Hot glue is like around archways and windows and stuff like that. And there's other options too. So what services are you going to offer? Are you gonna do everything? Are you gonna put up blow ups as well? Or are you gonna narrow down 3 or 4 of those things and be really good at them? Decide right now what you wanna do so that will help you with inventory too. So you're not having to keep a bunch of inventory or trying to figure out, well, maybe this supplier has this, but this supplier doesn't have this or whatever. So figure that out beforehand and go ahead and build your product list. Number 14, I don't even know if this is really even a question anymore, but LED or incandescent, just don't do incandescent. I mean, if you're a homeowner and you want that specific look, because they do look a little bit different. They do burn a little more orangier and they look like they have Like it's a more of a fire type color, and I get that. But from a professional installer point of view, it is very difficult and time consuming to install incandescent lights. So I would say just don't do it. Just don't install incandescent lights. And if a customer wants that, then maybe they can work on it themselves. And you know what? There may be a niche out there, just thinking about this, there may be a niche where you set yourself apart based on, I'm only doing incandescents. You figure out how to do it and do it really well and cut a lot of the time out of it, which is labor. And you said, for the people out there that still want incandescents, I'm your company. We are your company. I'm your gal, I'm your dude. We're gonna take care of you, and maybe that's your niche in the market. Other than that, that's the only reason that I can think that you would do incandescents is if you just absolutely specialize in them. In our course, we add on, it's just a 17-part video series, we add on several other things that are very important. We talk about what to expect from your first year in business, how to really set your business apart from other companies, building your team. That's so important to have a good team. Oh my goodness, that's so important to have good people on your team and how to do that. And then the pitfalls of the first year in business, things that you're not gonna know until you get into the business. That's in our course and the link below. We appreciate you joining us here today. That's just thoughts, things to think about, things to walk through in your head before you start this business. And also it may help you evaluate whether you wanna do it or not. All right, that's it for today. Let's light it up, and we have a special guest that's gonna do our closing. Check this out.
I'm Dan Orlovsky, and always remember that love God, love others, and let your work reflect that.
You're the man.